Hi, my name is Jera Foster-Fell and I'm a social media influencer and I live in New York City. Before my KonMari journey with Lisa, I would say that my home looked tidy on the outside, but if you opened up my cupboards and opened up my closets and drawers, it was a complete mess. So I kind of had this outward appearance of being tidy, but when you actually really looked a little bit deeper into my apartment and all the nooks and crannies, there was a lot of work that had to be done. I think I've always felt disorganized. I've never really known any process to contain my disorganization or to create any real way to make it work. It just always seemed like, okay, there's things, you have to put them in drawers, put them in cupboards. I didn't know that there was a better way to do it. So I think at the time I probably felt some sort of reaction to my disorganization, but I really had no idea how to do anything about it. When it came to my ideal vision of my home, I think for me, it's really about creating a place that feels comfortable and feels calm and relaxing. For me, my home is my safe haven. It's where I come to recharge and rejuvenate, and I want my interior, I want my home, I want my belongings to reflect that ideal. I wanted to seek help from Lisa because I felt like it was time to really get a better handle on my home. As I've gotten older, I'm placing more of an emphasis on the effort I put into my home. I want it to be a comfortable and safe and calm and relaxing place. And since I've never really quite understood how to get organized, or I've never even really put the effort into getting organized, I thought it was time to seek out the help of a professional and have Lisa teach me and help me along the way to create a tidy and intentional home. My tidying process was definitely transformational, but also intense. You can check out my whole process actually on my KonMari highlight on my Instagram. And you can also check out my blog post to really see the step-by-step process that Lisa and I went through. I would say I was really glad that I had Lisa alongside me, helping me along the way, because it is a huge task. I think we spent about or close to 40 hours together over the course of a couple months, and you don't really realize how much stuff you have, whether it's clothes or toiletries or souvenirs or mementos, and how long it can take to go through all of it and intentionally decide what you should keep and what ultimately brings you joy. So it was a long process. It definitely took a lot of work and a lot of effort, but I think that effort was absolutely worth it. And I'm so glad I put the time into KonMariing, if that's a verb, my home. It was really amazing to see what my home looked like after the tidying process, especially because we were documenting the whole thing with before and after photos. So I knew that certain parts of my home were messy and disorganized and all over the place, but really being able to see the before and the after photos and also experience it in person and see it with my own eyes was really incredible. I think that I always knew that I was disorganized, but then experiencing what it was like to be organized and having all my items be intentional things that I decided to keep that bring me joy was such an interesting experience. And I think what I found to be the most interesting was this calmness and the relaxing feeling it brought upon me. I think that calmness came from knowing that every single item I owned had a specific home inside of my apartment. Everything was intentional and everything visually looked really nice and tidy, which is quite a satisfying feeling to have. After my whole tidying process with Lisa was complete, I think I just felt a really big sigh of relief that I had the skills now that I could take with me as time goes forward to keep my home tidy, to keep my home intentional. And overall, I think I just felt a feeling of calmness knowing that there was so much order within my home. I definitely have some major takeaways from my whole tidying journey. I think the first would be just coming to this realization that a clean and tidy home affects not just your home life, but kind of affects your whole overall life. Knowing that my home base, my foundation is clean and tidy and put together overall just relaxes me and makes me feel calm and centered and grounded. And I think that helps me in my day-to-day life. So not just within my home, but expanding outside of my home as well. My second takeaway would be that I personally don't need as much stuff as I originally thought I did. It's easy to hold on to things. It's easy to kind of shove things in a corner and say, I'm going to deal with it later. But those extra things that we store in our home not only take up physical space, but also can take up a lot of mental space. So I learned during my KonMari process with Lisa that when you are intentional about the items you decide to keep in your home and you choose what brings you joy and then you get rid of or donate the rest, it creates a mental and physical weight that's lifted off of your shoulders. If I were to describe the KonMari tidying process in 3 words, I think I would choose memorable, challenging, and transformational. I think my vision of my ideal home absolutely came true after working with Lisa, without a doubt. I would say that my home is much calmer, much grounding, and really feels like a place I can come to recharge and reset. There were so many things that I truly loved when it came to working with Lisa. I would say first and foremost, it's clear how passionate she is about the KonMari method. And when someone else is passionate about something, it makes you feel really passionate and interested in it as well. She's so knowledgeable about the KonMari process and really educated me about it as we went through, but also wasn't just doing the process for me. She was with me by my side, teaching me about it, but giving me the tools to understand how it worked so that I could also carry on without her. So I learned so much about KonMari. Lisa was there with me every step of the way, and she was able to pass on her knowledge so that I can continue it in my life, even though we're done working together. I also found that Lisa was really non-judgmental when it came to working with me. I think that's a really important part because we have so much attachment to our things, and perhaps I am really attached to something for some reason and another person might find that stupid or silly. So I never got that feeling from Lisa at all. If I said this object or this piece of clothing truly brings me joy, she never once went like, oh, like, are you sure about that? She never questioned it. As long as I really thought about something and truly meant it, she agreed and saw the value in that. So I really appreciated that there's no judgment at all. I also found that Lisa is just such an awesome and wonderful person. When it comes to the KonMari method, you spend a lot of time with your KonMari consultant because it's such a process to go through all the different categories. And she was just so awesome and sweet and great to be around. So I think it's important to not just find someone who is knowledgeable in the KonMari method and who will help you learn how to transform your life using that method, but also someone who's just fun to be around and easy to talk to. So I found that Lisa really became my friend throughout the process and was just so enjoyable to be around as we worked together.